Good morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to use our new cutting skills to make our very own giving tree from the book The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. So I thought that before we started the project and start using our cutting skills that I would read you the story first. So here it is. It's one of my favorites. It's called The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. Once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And every day the boy would come, and he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb up her trunk and swing from her branches. Look at those feet. And eat her apples. And they would play hide and go seek. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. And the boy loved the tree very much. And the tree was happy. But time went by, and the boy grew older, and the tree was often alone. Then one day, the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, come and climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and eat apples and play in my shade and be happy." "I'm too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples. Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you will have money and you will be happy." And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time. And the tree was sad. And then one day the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy. And she said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and be happy." "I'm too busy to climb trees," said the boy. "I want a house to keep me warm," he said. "I want a wife and I want children, and so I need a house. Can you give me a house?" "I have no house," said the tree. "The forest is my house. But you may cut off my branches and build a house. Then you will be happy." And so the boy cut off her branches and carried them away to build his house. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time. And when he came back, the tree was so happy she could hardly speak. "Come, boy," she whispered. "Come and play." "I'm too old and sad to play," said the boy. "I want a boat that will take me far away from here. Can you give me a boat?" "Cut down my trunk and make a boat," said the tree. "Then you can sail away and be happy." And so the boy cut down her trunk and made a boat and sailed away. And the tree was happy, but not really. And after a long time, the boy came back again. "I'm sorry, boy," said the tree, "but I have nothing left to give you. My apples are gone." "My teeth are too weak for apples," said the boy. "My branches are gone," said the tree. "You cannot swing on them." "I'm too old to swing on branches," said the boy. "My trunk is gone," said the tree. "You cannot climb." "I'm too tired to climb," said the boy. "I'm sorry," sighed the tree. I wish that I could give you something, but I have nothing left. I'm just an old stump. I am sorry." "I don't need very much now," said the boy. "Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I am very tired." "Well," said the tree, straightening herself up as best as she could, "I don't need very much now," said the boy. "Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I am very tired." "Well," said the tree, straightening herself as much as she could, "well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down. Sit down and rest." And the boy did. And the tree was happy. Well, I hope you enjoyed reading The Giving Tree with me today. Let's go ahead and we'll get some paper and our scissors and glue sticks, and we'll draw up a tree and trace our hands and cut with our brand new cutting skills and see if we can make our very own giving tree. For this project, you're going to want a few different tools here. So I got my background paper, which is already the color of sky. If you don't have different types of construction paper, feel free to use some tempera paint or watercolor paint to paint your papers. I think that would be really pretty. So I have the blue 9x12 paper for the background. I have my 6x6 inch paper for the hands, to trace the hands for the leaves. And my hand won't fit on this, but if you're in kindergarten, then it will fit. And if you're older, then obviously just larger paper. So I have 3 of those. So I have 3 hands to trace for my leaves. I also have 2x9 green grass paper, 2x9 bark tree trunk paper, and then I have this is like a 3x6, and it's for cutting apples for your giving tree, and then a little piece of like a 2x2 square of yellow so that you can make the sun. I also have a glue stick, I also have scissors, and I also have a pencil. And with those things, we should be able to complete this project pretty quickly. All right, let's make it together. The first step of this would be to create a grass line. So I like to make a zigzag line for the grass, maybe not a complete zigzag, but make it a little bit difficult so that you can practice those cutting skills, especially for younger kids. The more difficult the zigzags are that they draw, the more difficulty they'll have cutting, and you don't want to overwhelm them. So once you have that drawn, go ahead and cut it out, and we'll glue it down here at the bottom of the paper. Now that I've cut out my green paper and made my grass, I just wanted to take a second and show you that when I'm gluing, boys and girls, I like to glue on the side the pencil line is showing. I always try and glue around the edges 3 times and make sure I get inside the little grass blades, and then I look for the pencil side. That way when we flip it over and glue it down, it will be nice and clean, and nobody will know if we made any mistakes while we were cutting it out, because they'll be hiding on the back. After our grass is glued down, our next step is to add our brown tree trunk. So I have this paper. I'm going to start here, and I'm drawing with white just so you can see my lines. They go down to the corner, go up to the top, start in, and bring them all the way down to the corner. Don't worry if it's not perfect. It actually makes it more interesting. All right, so I have my trunk cut out, and I actually went ahead and cut a little bit on the bottom to make it uneven so it wasn't a perfect line. If I flip this over, you'll see my white pencil lines. I didn't cut right on them, so that's the side I'd like to glue on. Grab your glue stick, twist it up so it's like a chapstick, and then run it up the middle of this 3 times is good. 1, 2, 3. Make sure you get this very bottom here too. Pick that up. Let's slide this down here so you can see better. And then you can decide, do you want your tree in the middle, on the side? Where do you want it? I'm going to go ahead and slide down here inside the grass. And I'm going to wipe it smooth, flat, straight to the top. Okay? So here it is. Slide it. And there. We'll overlap the top of this tree trunk with our tree's leaves or our hands in a minute. Okay, so we're moving through this quickly, but remember that if your children are just learning how to cut or just learning how to glue, like most kindergartners are, this is going to take a while. Even tracing the hand and cutting it out, you might need extra paper for their hand just because they're going to cut their fingers off on accident. So I can't fit my hand to trace it. Typically I would lay my hand down, trace around my hand, trace in between my fingers, spread my fingers out, not together, out, and try and cut in between them. Since I can't fit them on this paper, I'm just going to try and draw hands the way I think that they would look. Something like that. And you'll do this 3 times. It doesn't matter which hand you use. I would use the one that I don't write with. I'm a lefty, so I trace this hand, so I just made a right hand. Okay, you need 3 of them, and then we can begin cutting them out and gluing them down. So this project is about practicing our cutting skills and how we hold our scissors and how we cut and how we go slow. And when you're cutting, I actually cut all 3 of mine at the same time, but I don't want you to think you should have to do that. Try practicing 1 at a time so that you get the practice of the control in your hand and then cutting and also the helping hand and turning the paper. Once you have all 3 of those cut out though, we're ready to overlap them and glue them down. Let's drag this down here so we can see the top. And again, I didn't cut perfectly on my lines, and I'm saying to you that's okay. One hand will go here, the next hand can go here, and the next can go over here. You can arrange them however you want to. I put my edges of my fingers going off the paper. That shouldn't matter. That can make it beautiful. So we're going to get these glued down, and then we'll be ready to start our apples. When you're gluing down your hands and you're getting your fingers stuck down flat, please make sure to get glue in each finger. But watch if you're gluing it down and your fingers are going off the edge of the paper. If you've glued on the backs of these, it's going to be sticky and it's going to want to stick to the table. Just be aware of that, and then you won't make that mistake. The next thing to do would be to draw and cut out apples, which are good, just circles. They don't have to be small. You could spread them out. You could put them close together. Try to make maybe 10 or 12 of them and give yourself room to work with them. They don't have to be the same size. If you wanted to trace something that's a circle already so that you had a pattern to cut out, try a penny or a dime. Anything else that's round and small would be fine like that. But I spread them out with kindergarten. That way if they cut and they make a mistake on their cut, they don't cut through other apples that they made. So give themselves plenty of room, because you can make extra apples in the areas that don't have apples yet. But this really teaches kids how to cut on a real tight turn. So if they don't come out circular, don't be surprised and don't be disappointed. Anything that they cut out that's close, even if it looks more like a triangle, can look like an apple in a tree, and that'll be okay. The next step is to cut out your apples and draw your apples. And you know, it's probably easier to draw your apples along the very edge of the paper, but with kindergartners, you're going to find out that they put apples everywhere on the paper, and sometimes right beside each other and sometimes far apart. Some are going to be quarter size, some are going to be smaller. You can use all kinds of things to trace, including the cap of this glue stick. I know it's big, but it might be a little easier for them to cut a few apples. I went ahead and cut these apples out. We're going to use the glue stick, remember, like a chapstick, and we're going to glue it down. So roll that out just a little bit. All right, and I just take the paper, lay it down on the glue stick, pencil side down, wipe it, and place it. After you get them all placed where you want, you're finished with that part, and you can go on to doing the sun. If you want to, you can actually lay some apples along the ground, because remember in the story, The Giving Tree, the little boy collected the apples from the tree to make money. So go ahead and cut those out, glue them down, and we'll move on to the sun. I've got all of my apples glued down. I put 2 at the bottom. I want to make a sun, and I have room here to put the sun or up here to put the sun. It's up to you where you want to put it. I'll probably put mine right below the tree here as if it's setting. I have my glue stick cap, and I can trace that glue stick cap with this Sharpie just to make it easier for you to see. Just if you're going to trace something with a Sharpie, remember it's going to make a black line around it, and you don't want to be upset if it ruins it. So there's our circle. We're going to cut that circle out, we're going to glue it down, and then we'll finish it up. Alright, so same thing. I'm going to use my glue stick to glue on the pencil side, or in this case the Sharpie side. I'm going to actually just kind of roll the paper on the glue stick, because that way I don't get glue all over the table. And I'll place it here, press down firmly for a couple seconds, and there you have it. There's our giving tree. So here's our giving tree, and here's our book, The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. I hope you enjoyed making the project with me, and I'd love to see the way your kids came out. I think they're awesome cutting practice projects, and it tells a story that is important today, a story about love. So have a good day and keep on arting.